Our Canadian Grand Prix F1 driver ratings. Let's get into our F1 driver ratings then and begin with where we always begin. Logie Sarge started 18th, finished DNF, so didn't finish. I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. Wasn't anywhere near Albon's pace, but then of course he very much has a kindergarten car at the moment compared to Albon with all of his fresh upgrades, and then difficult to rate after that, of course, because he had that mechanical failure. Qualifying didn't really stand out.
Logie Sarge, 4 out of 10. It's so hard to rate because he broke down immediately, but even though his kind of car isn't the same as Albon's, I still think he should be doing better, so just go with a 4.
We now move to his teammate, Alex Albon. Started 9th, finished 7th.
It's got to be a 10 out of 10. P7 for a Williams is basically a victory for them, particularly when we've been saying all year that it's really hard to get to even into the top 8. So 7th for a Williams is unbelievable result. Albon got those upgrades, and boy, did he deliver with them. Well done, Alex Albon.
Well done, Alex Albon. I've also gone for a 10 out of 10 for Alex. Driver of the day, absolutely nailed it. 7th is a massive result for Williams. He ended up beating an Aston Martin and, of course, a Mercedes that didn't finish. So I don't think they ever had that on their bingo card at the start of the year. We now go to Nick de Vries. Started 17th, finished 18th. Going to be a 2 out of 10 for Nick de Vries. Whatever went on with that little battle was the ruining of his and Magnussen's race. Doing that was almost like DNFing because of how much time he lost. Being quite aggressive, I say overly aggressive into the first couple of corners. Yes, a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, it was a shocker. I've gone for a 3 out of 10. He beat TSUNODA in qualifying. He looked like he was kind of around there, but we've been saying this a lot with de Vries that, okay, just have a solid race where you're kind of with TSUNODA, and then there comes the mistake again. Clumsy overtake.
Okay, let's go to Yuki Tsunoda then, who started 19th and finished 14th.
I got for a 6 out of 10 for Yuki Tsunoda. Just kind of normal race. Wasn't his usual kind of greatness that he's been doing this year and putting it in.
Behave.
Well, not greatness, but you know what I mean. He didn't do his usual of being in the points and then dropping out of it. He was never there.
I've gone for a 5 out of 10 for Yuki. I can't give him any higher than that because he finished 14th and started on the back row of the grid. So I thought 6 is above average, isn't it? Like 5 is straight down the middle.
He's still driving a tractor though, isn't he? That AlphaTauri, maybe.
Well, it's only a tractor when it suits you, mate, isn't it, mate? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm joking.
You sound like the comment section now, jeez.
Let's go to Nico Hulkenberg next. Started 5th, finished 15th. I'm going for a 6 out of 10 for Nico. He was shafted by the safety car, pitted really early, had an amazing qualifying. Can't really take much away from him for that. It was harsh as well, I think, the 3-place penalty that he got. But I think you have to kind of respect that Nico was unfortunate in the race and really deserved to be higher than 15th. But that Haas was just terrible in dry conditions.
Yeah, I want to give like a 6.5, but we're not allowed to. So I'm going to upgrade it to a 7, even though that seems like quite high for someone that finished 15th, but it wasn't his fault. He got screwed by the safety car, and we need some kind of props for that amazing qualifying performance.
We now go to his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Started 13th, finished 17th.
Gone for a 3 out of 10. Wasn't on Hulk's pace in qualifying, but I mean that was difficult, and then just wasn't really there in the race. It's not a good performance from K-Mag.
No, and almost had an almighty crash with the back of Perez's car at the start, if we don't forget that as well. He was very lucky to not smash into the rear end of Sergio. I'm going to give a 3 out of 10 as well for K-Mag. Poor K-Mag. I'm sure he'll bounce back next time. Lance Stroll up next. Started 16th, finished 9th. I'm going to give a 5 out of 10 for Lance. You know, his qualifying was shocking. Was stuck in that train for most of it. Managed to get Bottas on the line pretty much to finish P9. Like, it's a decent recovery drive from where he was, but his teammate is literally at the front of the field. It still has to be seen as like, what are you doing, Lance?
I think 4 would be too harsh, so I'm going to go for a 5 as well. Yes, it was. You know, he's got a points finish, but he's driving a very good car, and Fernando Alonso showing that is a very good car.
Poor Lance. Yes, there was that one small glimmer of hope at Spain, but apart from that, it's not been all too good for Lance. Moving to the other side of the garage, Fernando Alonso started second, finished second.
Gone for a 9 out of 10 for Fernando. Obviously lost the place to Lewis at the start, but fought back with DRS, got the move done. Look, this guy is just unbelievable. Yeah, Alonso is just driving like an absolute legend at the moment, and showing that he's still got it.
He's still got it indeed. I've gone for a 9 out of 10 as well for Fernando. Unbelievable drive from Fernando, and you just start to wonder as people keep talking about Aston Martin closing the gap. Are they actually?
Come on.
Who knows? I'm trying to be positive, but I also think Max had a dead bird in his brake duct. So, we cannot forget that. Valtteri Bottas started 14th, finished 10th. Going to give a 7 out of 10 for old Valtteri. I mean, his qualifying wasn't anything to shout home about, but beat his teammate and then managed to secure a point in what was a decent race for him overall. He was very much in the mix for most of it.
Yeah, gone for a 7 out of 10 as well. It was a solid result for Valtteri after, what's been quite a poor run of form. Points are very valuable at the back of the grid, and Alpha still don't seem particularly great. So 7 out of 10, good performance.
Zhou Guanyu now started 20th, finished 16th.
Yeah, it's a shame. I've gone for a 3 out of 10 for Zhou. After that brilliant performance, in my opinion, the best drive of his career. Really poor. Don't know what the issue was, if there was an issue, but he started last in qualifying and then always on the back foot, 16th. Yeah, really poor weekend from Zhou, just as he was getting loads of compliments about how great he's been and, on the pace with Bottas, and then just had an absolute stinker. So bad times.
I've gone for a 3 out of 10 as well for Zhou. I'm pretty sure he was blocked in some kind in qualifying, which basically meant he started 20th, but then couldn't make a huge amount of ground up after that. Yeah, a weekend to forget for Zhou, but I'm sure he'll bounce back next time in Austria. If you haven't heard already, it's Smooth Sack Summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're scaped from pubes to bum. That's right, this is the summer to keep your balls cool while still looking hot with Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming are making sure we all have a ball this summer.
Dive headfirst into Smooth Sack Summer by going to manscaped.com.
The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor. A new multifunction on-off switch can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Beach, lake or shower, this razor will devour even the strongest of pubes. Isn't that right, Tommy?
Sure
Did
does.
you just dip that in water?
Yeah.
Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code P1MT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code P1MT at manscaped.com. It's Smooth Sack Summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind. We now go to Oscar Piastri, started 8th, finished 11th. I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10. Again, I just feel like he's the nearly man at the moment. He was ahead of Lando during that race. He was looking really good. He was pulling moves on Hulkenberg into turn 1, and his pace was very close to Lando. I can't give him any higher than a 6. He still didn't score points.
No, I know.
Close, but we'll get there, Oscar. I fully believe it.
I know, right? I've gone for a 6 out of 10 as well. I think he's actually doing really well, but his grades, you just can't give him higher because it's not quite there yet. Yeah, 6 out of 10 I think is fair.
Now Lando Norris started 7th, finished 13th.
Gone for a 6 out of 10 as well. It's hard to separate them because Lando did obviously better, but unfortunately the safety car infringement, the unsporting behaviour, even though it probably should have been classed as a safety car infringement, dropped him down and out of the points.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me as well for Lando. He was providing the entertainment. I was really excited to see those dive bombs, one on his own teammate. I'm sure he'll feel quite disappointed that he didn't come away with any points. Not picking up as many points for McLaren as I would have expected at this point. Pierre Gasly started 15th, finished 12th. Gone for a 5 out of 10 for Pierre. He was blocked by Sainz that completely shafted him. He also pitted before the safety car, so he got very unlucky. Didn't score any points, so I'm just going to go middle of the road, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, this is a tough one, 5 out of 10, because his whole weekend really was over from that block by Sainz. Gasly has shown that he can be on Ocon's pace, but he's had a bit of bad luck, and then sometimes things go wrong as well. So yeah, let's go 5 out of 10.
Exactly. Esteban Ocon now started 6th, finished 8th.
Gone for a 7 out of 10. Kind of want to give an 8, but then the Alpine is a good car, so I feel like 8th is probably where you should be when maybe, you know, a Merc and an Aston Martin aren't in that top bracket. So just Esti Besti being a good, solid midfield performance and picking up some points, which is all he can really do in that car. So 8. No, I'm going for an 8. I convinced myself. I was like, actually, no, it's like a good, solid drive for the car he's in. So yeah, I'm going for an 8.
Our editor's going to hate you. I've gone for a 7 out of 10 for Esteban. I think it was a good race. 8th, it's solid. We now go to Lewis Hamilton. Started 3rd, finished 3rd. I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 for Lewis. He obviously jumped Alonso at the start, then, of course, lost out. He was closing in towards the end of Fernando. It's going to be a fascinating battle to see Hamilton and Alonso throughout the rest of this year, and I'm absolutely signed up for it.
I have gone for a 9 for Hamilton. It's really close. It's like borderline. For me, it's like a lower 9 than Fernando, but I think it's still a 9 because it's a strong result. Yeah, I'll go for a 9 because it's a good result.
Okie dokie. We now go to someone who did not get a good result. George Russell started 4th, did not finish.
Yeah, I've gone for a 2 out of 10. Gone savage because I think I know it wasn't race ending, but I guess it kind of was because it smashed it in terms of like his points, and then he retired anyway later on. So yeah, not straight away. You know what I mean? You know, he's losing touch with Hamilton in the points now. Yeah, big error for George.
Huge error. 2 out of 10 for me as well. It was an unforced error. Just ran wide, hit the curb, then clearly got on the power a little bit too aggressively as the car was still unsettled and smashed the life out of that right rear. George, yeah, completely and utterly threw it away, unfortunately, because he was looking really good. He was very much in that fight for the podium with Alonso and Hamilton. We now go to Ferrari. Carlos Sainz started 11th, finished 5th. I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10 for Carlos. You know, impeded Gasly in qualifying, which was sketchy, to say the least. I now need to clarify that I am actually not happy with Ferrari at all. Leclerc said no. I'm pretty sure Carlos then got on the radio and asked, what is Leclerc doing? And then that's when they fed the information. And of course, they both made that decision to stay out. So great job from the drivers. Ferrari did not mean to do that, so I just had to clarify that. But yeah, Carlos gets a 7 from me.
Yeah, I've gone for a 7 as well. Dare I say, Carlos's grades recently have become a bit Oscar Piastri as well, where you're like, he's nearly there. He does look a lot more like he's there and thereabouts with Charles now, which is great to see. So 7 out of 10, it's a solid drive, and I think it's very positive for him.
Okay, now Charles Leclerc started 10th, finished 4th.
This is a difficult one. It's almost about the same as Carlos, but I'm going to give him an 8, mainly because maybe I was too harsh on him last time, so it'll average out a little bit. Actually has finally taken the strategy into his own hands and been forceful with it and said, no, we should do this. So fair play to him for that. But again, what might have been if it had started higher. So
everyone might be surprised here, but I'm giving him a 7 out of 10 as well. I don't think they can really be separated. Carlos was told several times to not fight Charles. Yes, Ferrari didn't manage to get him on the right tire at the right time, but there were also opportunities for him to still have made it through and to have had that opportunity to go through to Q3. And my goodness me, Helmut Marko has said that Ferrari could have won the race. Yep, good. Right, let's move on. Sergio Perez next. Started 12th, finished 6th. Going to give him a 5 out of 10 for Checo. Didn't make Q3 again. He is in the best car on the grid by, I still believe, a substantial margin. And for Perez to have such little pace that he only finished 6th.
He's in a Red Bull. He's finishing 1 place out of a Williams. That's all you need to know, isn't it?
Yeah. He's got to be salvaging a podium. That's why I predict him on the podium, because that's why I think he should be, even if he has a terrible qualifying.
I've gone for a 4 out of 10, because starting 12th and finishing 6th is pretty awful. It has to be said, Perez is having an absolute shocker of form right now.
Let's go to Max Verstappen. Started 1st, finished 1st.
It's a 10 out of 10 again. You know, even if that car is extremely good, you can't give him any lower because he's, lights to flag. I can't believe he's led every single lap since Miami, when he took the lead in Miami, but also I can because it kind of feels like he has. He's just driving the best he ever has, and he's cruising as well, going over a sausage curb that has put George Russell out of the race, and he's like, haha, I almost got knocked out there. Oh no. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 from me as well for Max. Matched Senna's 41 wins, Red Bull 100 wins now in Formula One. He's just so good. And as I keep saying, he had a freaking dead bird in his brake duct. How has that not set his brakes on fire? That's how little he's pushing into corners. He's not even braking. Like, it's crazy. Let's now go to who is our P1. Alex Albon. For me, just sensational. Brilliant. Great performance. Let's see if Williams can actually translate that into more races this year.
Yeah, I've also gone for Alex Albon. Can't really be anyone else other than Max Verstappen, but that's boring because he's getting 10 out of 10 all the time. So
that's boring. It's boring when you do it for P1, but when you do your race prediction and your quali prediction, that's not boring then, no?
Albon's drive was, so good. Extremely well-deserved.
And thank you, Tommy, as always. I am melting, so I'm going to put my fan back on now because I'm not allowed to do it during the podcast. And we'll see you very soon for another pod/content thing. Bye!
Bye!
Fun.
It's going to be the outro every single time now.